Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back here. I want to say thank you guys for coming and joining us. Someone tagged me on a very good post. There was at the group at I Am Twin Flame. You guys know that this group, it's ours. We kind of like supporting there. There was a very good questions, very good topic to talk about it in the sense that me and Paulina, we went through this, and I know that a lot of you will go through this process, particularly with this separations, particularly when you get together, but then the fear of separations comes back and kicked in. And we decide today to pick up that post and giving you some video answer about it. That video answer hopefully is going to be helping you out. Hopefully, if you guys have too many questions as they comes in, you guys can ask. But first things first is that learning the separations, learning the things inside of you begins actually earlier in the primary separations where it tells you that you should be okay with or without. If you have not gone through this process, then when you go to the union in there, you're going to have a rough time because you're going to be acting from fears. And guess what? When you're infusing the fears is what? They're going to be starting working on you, manifest within you, and so on. Later on, I'm going to be reading the post and we are going to go over it. But I'm going to pass the mic to Paulina.
No, well, I think we can start with the question because it's that's gonna be a good introduction. But in general, I believe it's something that everyone has to kind of accept as a part of the journey, and just not to be afraid of this word separation, because that's it's just the word is already in the community infused with this fear and oh my God, we have to avoid it at all costs. While we a little bit forget what is the reason of those separations. It's not like on first sight it looks like, oh, it's just keeping two people separate, but in reality what happens is just this is the cycle of expansion and contraction that we're entering with another person. So it's like a natural element of this dynamic, and it's just the sooner you accept that you are involved in this kind of dynamic that will be feeling sometimes like a push and pull. It doesn't mean that there's gonna be the drama in the relationship, but you're gonna be learning to sense when those moments are occurring and not react on that, because as I said, like this is a natural process that will be happening eventually for the couples that when we speak about soul connections.
Exactly. When we speak for the soul connections, you're going to see that the soul connections is going to be facing the human 3D programming within you, your basic survival mode, and so on. And it's normal to have those emotions. Okay, you are built with it. You are living in the society with this. So in a soul connection, this is a little bit different. So right now, I'm going to be reading the post, and we are going to be going through it. I'm actually very happy about this. I was just asking for advice. Oh, before I started, um, we don't know who to give to the credit for it because it's an anonymous participant, and we cannot. But I want to say thank you for the great question. Okay. So the post. I was just asking for advice. Now that we are talking and contacting again with my divine masculine twin flame, can we say that this is a reunion? But how can I keep our relationship balanced? What I am afraid of, that there will be another separation because sometimes I think that we meant when I talk to him, it is just a borrowed moment again. So here is a what I'm going to be telling you with this that as I stated earlier that if you have not processed it, the energy of gonna be okay with or without, you haven't overcome that primary fear in there and allow the universe to align all this with yourself, you're gonna be having this. But what pay attention to me is to call him my divine masculine. One thing that you need to understand in there, you need to unify the divine masculine, divine feminine from within you. If you still separates them in there, you need to see why you're separating them, because you have to learn to operate the both energies. These operations of the both energies is gonna be helping you out in there. Can we say that this is reunion? If there has been union, and sometimes there are separations, then a reunion. What is a reunion? You're coming back together. You're going back within, and the reunion, in a way, is you are touching base back with the person. But that is a coming for reasons in there. I spoke about this many years ago. Um, that is a to touch base. Have we healed the reasons for the separation? Okay. So if you hold on, if you have not healed this reason for the separations, you may have some fears that you're going to be separated again. Okay. That is a related more into the inner work that you and him done it. But how can I keep our relationships balanced? Here is telling me that asking that questions, how can I keep the balance? You feel that something is imbalanced. The balance is made between the masculine and the feminine energies from within you. Because when they are balanced within you, you're gonna be able to keep the balance within the connection itself. So you need to look at it inside of yourself why you don't have that balance in the first place. And there. So the rest of it is like, what if I'm afraid of it's there will be another separation? Because sometimes you think that sometimes you think, okay, is because you feel something that makes you to think about another separation, and that can be a little bit a trait of leftovers of what have not been fixed, what have not be in there. Look deeply inside of you, what that is, and share it with your partner. Don't keep it within you. This is why you have the connections. This is why this reunion is coming to be shared and discussed. And through the discussions, not argue, discussions, you're going to be finding the powers that it comes in within the both connections in there. And when you're finding it that, too, you're not going to be feeling that this like I just maybe a borrow at the moment. Okay. Because if you're feeling like you're borrow at the moment, you're basically going to be infusing that fear of another separation. But if you resolved everything in there, there will be none. But as I again, as I started at the beginning in there, balance with the feminine and masculine energies, and learn the one of the greatest thing is the letting go of this human-based emotions about separations. Because when in a soul you are good with or without, that fear it's out of your system. It's replaced by understanding that the soul is soul, and then the fear is not there. Yes, without the reunion, you may gonna have rough moments here and there because something is not been processed properly, or the areas and concern that needs to evolve. But you will not have this fear of another separations or borrowing moments. So back to you, darling.
No, those are good points. And especially, when you were reading the question, was coming to me this to talk a little bit about the sense of control we have, like with regards to those connections, but also what are we giving our control to? So sometimes we are giving control to feelings, like we have this example of fear, or we even have tendencies to give a control to other people. So we're gonna be thinking like the whole journey, the whole outcome of the twin flame journey depends on the decision of one person, which this is imbalance probably that the person is sensing but cannot really see fully. Because when you ask yourself, what can I do to balance the energies within the connection? I would say all you can do is to balance yourself. If another person can balance themselves, the connection is fine. Like maybe for everyone, reminder, like try not to take control over an entire connection. Like this is your responsibility to maintain it at all costs, because what ends up happening, people are getting desperate and people will really sacrifice their healthy boundaries, their often self-respect, out of this fear, because oh my god, I have to tiptoe around my DM because he may leave any moment. And it's this unnecessary cycle of fear that we, instead of trying to escape that, we kind of put ourselves consciously, because we believe that the purpose of the journey, or that maybe the dynamic of the journey, how it looks like, the separation should be avoided at all costs, and if it happens, this is a failure. So people have it as this, it's very fearful for them to think even about the separation, because they are afraid of this unknown. Or maybe this person will never get back after. But you see, there is no freedom in that, because you will be keeping yourself on guard, and instead of being yourself, you're going to be, oh my god, how am I supposed to react so that other person doesn't choose to leave me? So this is very dangerous space, because a, like, it doesn't give you the freedom to be yourself, but also like just try to sense where is this control when I'm speaking about it, if that really depends on a decision of someone who can have some like misunderstood actions, some shady actions, like hard to predict. Like this is not a space, like a safe environment for you as a soul anyways. So what ends up happening, like that's one of the reasons, there are many reasons for the separation, but one of this reason is just it, the whole connection has to go through some purification. So if some people have issues with seeing what's right or wrong, it doesn't matter which side, there's gonna be this separation happening, because it's, you can think about, it's some sort of protection mechanism that is put into place, that people are kind of interested in maintaining the connection, but they don't fully get it. They still cross each other's boundaries. They still compromise those core values that we want to kind of maintain during those healthy and conscious relationships. So I think very big point is just a take like maybe leave this responsibility, like you're responsible for entire outcome of an entire connection. You just do you. You're responsible for your actions, for keeping yourself balanced, but also keep your boundaries. If someone is crossing your boundaries, recognize that. Don't be afraid if they will leave or not. Like you have to stand for yourself, because the right connection, if it's meant to happen and last at the present moment, and you choose yourself, this person will stay. It will be scary to do, because we are not trained to do that very much, to choose yourself at no costs, right? um so once you start choosing yourself, you will see that people sometimes they start falling from your life, or sometimes there will be this separation happening, but trust that this is for the right reason, because it's like there, as I said, like in the background there is this dynamic that we don't fully understand. I believe there is some expansion going when you actually get separated on an energetic level, really, even from your counterpart. So that's, I think that's the most important point. Like, just not be afraid of this. Even the word itself, it should not be giving you this negative feelings and fears, because if you understand it as a dynamic, you know that whatever is meant to get back to you will be getting back to you. But do you trust it? And are you not afraid to walk the journey for a little bit on your own, if that's also the plan? So this is a little bit of this mental exercise that you can do to get yourself out of this fear space, and just really think, what are you giving your control to? you know
Um, Very good points, baby. And when you were talking about that comes in of what she was reading in there, about what should I do to keep the balance? That question right there, it's just like energies popped out. A lot of the people, they're operating like, I have to do something to maintain the balance. And here's the one thing want to share you from experience, but also today I had a conversations with another twin flame, and what it was is that I was asked the questions, Gio, why cannot we cannot argue because it's balance. If you're discussing and having the things with your partner, with your divine partner in there, you don't argue. You're discussing in there. Okay, you talk, you communicate. You both are truth seekers. And here, how I'm going to lead back into you, it is about the truth. So if you're not in a balance, that's mean you're hiding something. Maybe something from within you feel like you're not good enough. Maybe something isn't there that you should have to go ahead and check things out because you asking yourself to program yourself to learn something, how to make a balance. The one thing that's gonna make you absolute balance, first of all within you, and second of all with your partner, that is gonna be the truth. Okay, the balance is about that. It is about the truth because there is nothing other things. Because every time there is an imbalance in there, that imbalance is going to be shaking the connection. That imbalance is going to be creating those fears because you're going to feel those imbalances. They're going to be keeping you stuck. And when you're facing this, being a truth to yourself, from yourself, in there, towards, first of all, towards you, and the second of all, towards your counterpart, then you're going to be able to really feeling the power that the twin flames has as a communications. They are not afraid to say, oh, well, I screwed this up or I did that. I have to figure these things out. Okay. You're going to find out that like when you're doing the discussions in there, I will give you an example. Like me and Paulina, we are discussing something that it's needs to be addressed. I don't point fingers or anything. I told her, like, baby, I need to look first within me. Okay, we stated that before, and that's how you do it. You're looking first within yourself. It's a good point that you're looking actually for within yourself because you are saying in there, but how can I keep the relationship balanced? I. And here is that I from within you is going to be answering you. Ask yourself that questions to your own self and see how the soul is going to be responding from within you. You have the power of the soul. Ask your soul. Now you're going to find that this is a very powerful thing that we have not using the soul as a guidance of our internal world. And this is the power of the twin flames. Use it. If you've been activated here, if it's been in all this, you will have no problems. Because when the answer comes in from the soul, when it comes in into you, is based out of the truth. So you have what? You have no conflict with your emotions, with your energies, with your ego, and so on. Why? Because you accepted the truth as it is. And therefore, there is nothing to imbalance it. And from there, you're going to be going up with this, and it's going to be able to help you out. Hopefully, this helps you on this. So I'm going to go to the second part of the post. That's why I feel a little sad every time I think about it. Another thing, should I give him space like sometimes he's online? Should I feel bad if he doesn't message me sometimes? Well, here's a one thing in there. Still operating a little bit from codependency. Okay, on that, but I want to be talking about it. As he explained before, we agreed to get back together. He just busy when he can't chat, and sometimes the internet is slow and disappears because he's on a ship there because it's his job. Okay, so do you understand him? Is the question. You see, in a way that this is the way you've been writing here. Here's the way I see your part of codependency. That's why I feel a little sad every time I think about it. Another thing, should I give him space? Like sometimes he's online. Shouldn't I feel bad if he doesn't message me sometimes? You should not feel bad. That's mean you're taking it personally. He maybe has family or friends or something that he does, even if he's online. You need to give it a space. Yeah, you make that right. You need to give him a space because when he's in space, he may be work on himself. He may be search something. Maybe he needs some time off from himself. Okay. The question is about you, not about him. Your way that you kind of like it him to spend all the time, every minute, every second with you. If you have that desire, this is a codependency. You're codependent on his attentions towards you because you were seeking at that attention. Take a look at it within yourself, your needs for attention seeking, where are they coming from? Maybe there are something within a family pattern. Maybe there is something from within you that you haven't received attention as a inner child in there as a child. To should I give him a space like sometimes he's online? Yes, you should give him a space. Okay, you need to understand that it's the one thing that you're gonna be learning into the journey is to give your partner the freedom. Okay, and that is it. For example, me and Paulina, we know whether we are online and so on and so on. We message each other. It's like, do you busy? Do you do something else? So you're working on it. She knows my schedule. She knows everything, what I do, how I do it. And guess what? If you were busy, or if she's busy, okay, we're gonna hear each other later. We're gonna see each other later. But we give some space and times for each other. If either one of us, it's like, hey, baby, you know what? I need to go out for a walk. I have to make up my mind. Can we talk later, like in an hour? I don't take it personally, like she's rejecting me, because I know she's going through something. I can feel her. I understand her needs. Okay, it's the same thing within her. So you need to also respecting this, but you need to also understand. Those are what Paulina said is a healthy boundaries. Every person needs at least 1 hour of the day for his own self. 1 hour. That he's gonna disconnect from everything. He's gonna find it himself. He's gonna organize his own world. Because if he's going all the time, giving you attentions in there, you're taking that energies from him, and then he's gonna be drained. Okay, so seeing it within yourself, what is this in there? As he explained before, we agreed to get back together. He's just busy when he cannot chat, and sometimes the internet is slow and disappears. He's in a jeep on a ship, and that is his job. But how do you take in it when he's online? There is all the time when he's online in there, that's mean that he has to talk to you. He must. He has to. Take a look at it, your own positions about must and has to. Okay? That will answer you a point of directions of what you need to heal. Okay? Because when they're gonna call you, they're gonna call you because they want to call you. Because they wanted to keep the connections, because they value the connections because of the situations they are. Okay, but I'm proud of it that you all understand that this person is on the ship and he does his things. Okay, so that's what it is. Baby, it can take over.
Yeah, two things. So one thing is we need to accept to people to be as they are. You know, even this is a situation that probably someone is working and you have to learn to give space for actual life. You know, we cannot just be in this symbiosis 24/7. We are not designed to build this way. We are not designed to live and have a relationship this way because we would just eat each other out So we need a time to recharge, but also we need to have time to interact with the world. Like, it's just not, we are not created just to be two of us and just get back to union and that's it, and you can just go into space and dissolve. So you have to learn to also manage your time, because I believe we, some twin flames can have issues with that, they have tendencies to even lose themselves in the connection. They would like to spend 100% of the time just because it's, maybe it feels so right, but on the other hand there's not balance. So one thing is to actually recognize that, but another thing is, do you allow the person to be as they are, even if it means that they don't need that much attention, they don't need that much of a contact, they are more solitary? And there are two choices: either you really accept as they are without thinking, oh, maybe he or she will change in a little bit, maybe they will feel more need. No, do you accept them in this moment, but in the way that they respond to you and they are engaging in the connection? Does it satisfy your needs? And maybe not needs, but does it satisfy how you feel about being in a relationship? And are you feeling fulfilled this way? If not, you have to reconsider, because just assume, you always have to accept person as they would never change in the future, and then you choose them. Do you agree, build a connection with them, or will you be feeling like sacrificing some part of yourself? Even in this situation, if you feel like, oh, it's not fully what I expect, it's maybe not ideal, you still have choice to talk to them. But again, like, you cannot predict what will be the outcome, but you cannot be in between, because if you give too much from yourself, your soul will suffer and you will feel it, it's gonna be itching. At the same time, if you will have this unrealistic expectation because someone is completely different, but you expect them to maybe change and act differently in the future, it's not gonna happen, most probably. So you see, it's like, we always, as usual, we have choices. You're giving a person and you're being asked, are you ready to cooperate with this person? Knowing that that's the way they live, that's the way they react. Are you okay with their ways? If not, well, you have a choice, either to be on your own, or maybe choose like a little bit like more this personal space. But just, we have to stop thinking that we may expect someone becoming someone completely different, right? So it's a little bit like this unconditional acceptance, of course, within your healthy boundaries. Like, I'm not talking here about this very toxic behaviors that we are really compromising ourselves, but those maybe, um understanding other people's perspectives, where people are coming from, their backgrounds, their life situation. So just getting out of our own bubble and trying to understand, maybe they are really busy, maybe they cannot give too much to the relationship, but also we are not meant to do that, we have to have our personal space. So really just learning to be more understanding, I think, in how people are reacting, and just observing yourself. Does it fulfill your needs or your wishes for how you want to have your conscious relationship to look like?
Oh, baby, a lot of things like remember with us, when we went through this and understanding all this and getting to these separations, and it was so powerful that we kind of come together when it came to this fears, to triggers in there. The power of I'm gonna be okay with or without in there. It was coming in and keep us all, because we knew all this process that it was coming, and it was so great to get that energies back. We are talking about this. So I'm gonna go through
One
the
thing I
yeah.
want just to, before we move on, this fear of separation, all of that, like, sometimes we really are balancing on the edges, and we may choose incorrectly. By incorrectly, I mean, maybe we would push too much into just maintaining what we originally feel like as a union. We'll start compromising ourselves, and we're gonna kind of miss out the proper timing for the right things to happen. So just to give an example, let's say if we push too much for our physical union, and we would like to manipulate a little bit in terms of timings, right? We would miss out on something that is getting prepared in the right moment in the future, just because our human understanding of our connection would be pushing for that. So it's again like each couple is different. Some people have to do more and online and just long distance just to figure stuff out, and eventually, it's coming together in a 3D. But just try to remove this urge to make things happen. Things will happen if you allow it. If you're training yourself to get this sense about when you should act, what is the time to regroup for a little bit, what is the time to give space to your partner, and trust that there are pieces that's being put in place. And just changing a little bit this narrative as we are here, like you want to experience how the connection will be unfolding without you pushing for that. It's like, let it go and see how it's gonna go, gotta come together eventually, again, if that's meant to be. This is like complete letting go of control about what is the outcome of the connection, when it's gonna happen. You're really, in that moment, you're gaining this very gentle sense, how the life wants to take you. And especially this, you will understand how the connection is really, it almost like it has its own life and its own force, and it puts people together. Sometimes it separates people, but it has its own, like, a logic that it tries to follow, and it tries to guide you in the most optimal way. Because if, for example, you're not coming into 3D union, like the most understood form, there is a reason for that. Maybe you're supposed to be in a little bit different location than your partner currently. Maybe you have to focus on something a little bit different, but still, it's not a failure. I really believe that this changing the understanding about what the separation really means will be helpful. It will take off of pressures. Instead of like a disaster and fearful experience, try to see it as a space for growth, space for heal, and maybe like a space to do something else, because it's like a gentle redirection that, oh, your energy has to be going a little bit different direction right now. It doesn't mean that you have to predict like 10 years in the future. At this moment, you have a different thing to do. So hopefully that helps as well to kind of sense this different, and allow this connection just to really gently go its own flow.
Good job. You were talking about the third energy and the connections that actually controls. It's the quality control of the connection. Okay, basically that's what this is. The third energy is gonna test these things out. You're gonna find it out. Okay, and every time when you have a physical separation in there, you're gonna be seeing it. What is the purpose? Every time we are separating, you guys know here on the channel, you see us together, then we are not together. See us together, we're not together. But we are every time we are learning things, and we're talking you from experience here. Okay, so you need to understand that third energy in there that tells you, and it works out because every time we are looking at to the third energy, we're listening, we understand that that third energy brings us even more closer. We are expanding more and more. Okay, and if we are trying to contract things to control things and so on, the third energy comes in. It's like, no, 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 you cannot contract. You're here to expand, guys. You're here to do it, but you have to have this balances as within the third energies. Okay, but the balance with the third energy comes in with your personal balances with the truth within you, because that truth, the power of the truth, is going to be with the third energy. Is going to be with the partner. Okay. All right. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Whenever I feel uncertainty, what shall I do? Because uncertainty is the reason why we had hot and cold energy. That's why we separated. He gets hurt every time I think of him in a wrong way. When there is a time when he doesn't message me for a day, even though he has explained it to me that the situation that he's busy, and there is a times when the internet is not stable. so he can't message me properly. Okay. Um, I don't want the separations and having a hot and cold energy to happen again. And that is what I am afraid of now. What can I do to make my relationship with my twin flame stronger so that it can work it out in the union? Oh boy. Whenever I feel uncertainty, you feel uncertainty because the energy is not certain, because situations is not certain. The programming within you leaks into the uncertainty. Why? Because you're uncertain, first of all, with who? Not with him. You're uncertain from within yourself. Whatever you feel with him, that's what you feel within yourself. What should I do? Well, here's what you're going to do. You have to believe in yourself that you're gonna be okay, that the connection is gonna be okay, that everything is it's fine, everything it's all right. If he doesn't message you, he's got his reasons. Okay. Um, Now you are talking about this uncertainty because uncertainty is the reason why we had hot and cold energy. That's why we separated. What is this hot and cold? It's supposed to make it warm, not hot and cold. Okay, you're coming from two different energies in there, and that's mean that if the one is facing in the hot, the other is facing into the cold, and you have to make what? Warm. You have to understand each other. You have to blend in there. But the uncertainty they can triggers. So um, uh, if you feel cold towards him, and you send that coldness towards him, guess what? He wants to be hot, and you're sending that cold in him. He feels it. He's like, oh, I'm not. I'm gonna disappear. I'm there, and so on. If you're chasing him over through the phone and you wanted him to be more warm, without him to be ready to be warm, maybe he's in the cold side within himself in there, or you're pushing him too much. He doesn't like to be pushed. He doesn't like somebody to tell him what to do. Okay? You need to understand one of the main things for that hot and cold is because you're telling your partner what to do. And most of all, you're demanding on it. People are sick and tired of somebody tells them what to do. They need someone to understand them, what's happening and what is it going on, and how they can work together, and not orders. And he's in a ship, I'm assuming he takes the orders. If he's in the military, in there is constantly somebody gives him an order that he has to follow, but he doesn't want to follow this kind of like a situations in the relationship. If he is actually another way around, because you don't have another explanations in there, if he is acting towards like a military towards you, because that's what his background in there, if he's in the ship, towards with you, and he kind of like gives you orders, and you're kind of like going cold towards him. He feels that coldness. Now he's cold. Okay, so there's a lot of variations within all this, but it all lies within what? In the certainties. And what are these uncertainties in there? Because certainty is the reason why we had a hot and cold energy. That's why we were separate. Well, learn how to be warm, both of you, warm towards each other. Oh, okay. Well, I'm currently, I don't feel like it, but I feel like there is some cold energy. Maybe you should look something from within yourself. But I have to look, before you look within yourself, I have to look within me why I feel like this. Maybe there is some triggers inside of me. What do you think? What should I be? Take a look within me. That's how you should communicate. You're not you discussing anything. I feel, I explain, I sense it, there is something, yes, and then you're gonna find out that both of you have something to work it out within this. Not the one person, both of you. Okay? Because otherwise there's gonna be this one-way directions in there. That the one asks so much and the other doesn't receive. The give and receive is also these exchanges in there. Not kind of like go in two separate directions. The one it's hot, the other it's cold. That's mean that guess what? There is a separation is in there from what? What you need to be looking at in there. He gets hurt every time I think of him in the wrong way. So here is the thing. Why did he's hurt? Maybe you have not let it go of a certain patterns from previous relationships, and now you think that the same things happens with him, and you tell him certain things, and he's like, "No, I'm not like this. Why are you hurting me?" Or maybe if you feel like he's hurting you, you are hurting him, so he can understand not to hurting you. But that's not the way. You need to heal patterns, heal people, heal people. Okay? Hurt people are hurting people. And you need to recognize a pattern because every time when I see the or hearing the word hurt, that's means something is not okay. Something is not it. There is a wound. There is something needs to be taught. Something needs to be discussed. Something has to be go deep. Okay? But when you go deep within the wounds with your partner, that's what you put the love in there to heal. Okay? That's what you should do. Because I think of him in the wrong way. So you're recognizing that you're thinking of him in the wrong way. You're stating it in there within the questions. The question is why. Find this within yourself, within you. When there is a time when he doesn't message me for a day, even though he has explained it to me, the situation, that it's busy and there is a times that the internet is not stable, so he can't message me. So do you accepting that if he doesn't message you and it's okay? You're like the little child that needs this energy from mom or dad. That's how I sense. I need to have this, I need to have that. Take a look in there. Take a look within the inner child from within your own self in there. Because he is getting that energies like, I cannot message you, I'm in a ship. Maybe if he's in a military ship, maybe he has these limits. Maybe there is something else is going on. Maybe he doesn't have the rights to message at this certain time and space. He doesn't have to talk or something, you know. Particularly in the military is a little different in there, if that's the case. But if it's even in a ship in there, you don't know what's going on. Things on the ships and regulations in the ships, they're different. Every time situations is different. Particularly if he is on watch. When you are on watch, okay, I'm telling you from personal experience because I've been in watch on a boat. I know what that's mean on a ship. Okay, you're out there, you're sitting out there for 45 minutes. Then you take a little break, then you go back again. And you take a little break and go back again. And at that break, you need to relax. Okay, so when he is on that watch, you cannot call, you cannot make calls. The only thing you can do is your radio, you call captain. That's it. You can't do anything else. If you need to go to the one spot, you ask for permission to go. Okay, so seeking it in there within yourself, how the things are with there, and he said he's not. So he cannot message me properly. So he said he wants to message you properly, but he's not available. He's not capable for some whatever reason. So to finish at this, I don't want the separation and having a hot and cold energy to happen again. And that's what I'm afraid of now. Why are you afraid of now? You should not be afraid. If you're afraid, there is something wrong within you. You may be repeating a certain pattern. Break that pattern. Seek that pattern. Are you creating the hot and cold environment and the connection? And this is why you're looking at what are the things is imbalance. I will, if I was you, I will look from within me. Okay, but also I'm going to look at what the connection is triggers within me and where is my weaknesses in there. What can I do to make my relationship with my twin flame stronger so that it can work out in the union? Work on yourself. Work on yourself. That's all you can do. When you're working on yourself, you're stable by yourself, you're balanced within yourself. Your partner is going to feel the balance within you. That balance is going to be show them how they have to balance themselves. Then the two balanced people, they're coming together. And there was a little confirmation comes in on the screen. It's a little talk. So that's all I have for right now. And back to you, baby.
No, there was something I wanted to say. Mm. Oh, that we have to remember that sometimes we are getting connected with the right people that are, let's say, very cooperative with us, but they just have their own ways. And one thing that we may be afraid is not actually that this certain person will be treating us like hot and cold and all of that. Very often, what we are really afraid, especially when I'm talking about the spheres of separation, take a look back into the past a little bit, not dread, not swim in the past for weeks. Take a look if there was not some experience you had, some memory that you had that just caused you a lot of trauma, that it's almost like paralyzing fear that it's gonna happen again. So again, you may be with the best person for you, but you're gonna be looking from this perspective of the old memories, oh my god, because it can repeat itself. And again, it can repeat itself, like it's obviously like there's always an opportunity, but also take a look, maybe you are with the right person, maybe the story doesn't have to repeat itself, just to give them this chance, to prove themselves. Because with with this mindset that we are, sometimes we are very hurt by past relationships, but we can sabotage our current ones. So just to be mindful about what really happened to you in the past, like why you're just so afraid that it's gonna happen. Was that the person that really hurt you in the past? Or maybe that's just you're afraid of just repeating this cycle. Because, if we've been hurt in the past, you still have to heal it, right? Like it's just because otherwise you're gonna be dragging it into your next relationships. But the only way to actually heal it is to have, that's just how the universe works, right? You will have a very similar experience and just the outcome will be different. Emotionally you're gonna go in this space and your mind will be putting you the worst case scenarios, but then the person will react differently. The person will be proving to you, I'm doing differently. I'm not this whatever memory you had in the past. I'm not that person that you thought I will be acting the same way. Just take a look into your own triggers. What is it really that you're afraid of? Like, are you afraid to being left out without the maybe the proper answer, without the closure? Are you afraid of abandonment? Don't be afraid to dig a little bit more. You may even see that it doesn't come from the partner, it comes maybe from some parents' relationship memories. So this is a big thing because it's like you will have to face it at some point, right? Because otherwise you'll be paralyzed by the fear that it may happen, but you don't really know what you're afraid of fully. You're sensing it because emotionally you just don't want to go to this space anymore. So you're kind of freezing yourself. But if you take a closer look, you may really tackle this fear from the proper ground. And maybe you will find out the partner will be even helping you out because especially in those situations, don't be afraid to share what you've experienced, what you've discovered about yourself. Because again, here we are talking about those connections that you can really open your heart and say, hey, I'm still interested in this connection. It's difficult for me because I have these weird triggers. Sometimes I don't understand them even, but I want to make it work. And you will see the response, because that's how the other person will proving to you that they don't care that much about the triggers. They are able to understand and they are able to work it through. But it has to be your step, to do your research and do your own analysis, and whatever are your findings that help you to understand your story better, and what is it really that those fears and anxieties that you have, it would be better if you just openly communicate. Like, I know this is a different situation because this communication is a little bit problematic because of this connection issues and this ship situation. But just even if you're mentally ready to talk about these things, like, it's gonna be a right moment for you to share that. But just, again, the closer you approach this fearful space, and what is it really, those emotions that you try to avoid, it can help you to understand and just take the power from this fear. It's gonna be there because you have to heal it, but it's not gonna feel that much overwhelming. It's almost like you have to live through this, like, emotionally you have to go there, because maybe it can also be like, I'm just afraid to be on your own. But then, well, it just shows you the space why you're afraid of being on your own. Like, as a full human being, like, we should be able to be on our own, right? Like, to not to be dependent on other people. So you will have a lot of probably understandings once you start looking into that more. But of course, like, thousand different scenarios, right? Hopefully it
Oh,
helps.
it's very beautiful, very beautiful. I think I was just processing within me. It's like it was not even a few seconds before you say dependent on others. I was talking about this codependency energies within me that it comes out as an energies of this. Take a look at this codependency in there. It's kind of like a that codependency. It's also have a little spicy of obsession. You see, during the ignition state, this obsession about my twin flame and um, my things that I need to do and so on. Now that obsession, since you are reconnecting again, it's gonna be a trigger within you. It's kind of like, oh, I want to, because you are wanting this connection for to reconnect for so long time, and now this energy is like, oh, let's go. I need to consume it. I need to have more. We need to constantly be on the connections. That is the obsession talking in you. And when that obsession is there, take a look at it and take that out. When you beginning to understand that you're gonna be okay, either with or without, and if it's proper way, it's meant to be, it will be. And if you have issues, you communicate properly with the truth with your counterpart, and they're truthfully honest the way you are. Here is that is a one advice is that you want to make the things work out. But the things you work it out when you're in union in there. You worked it out in your own before. Me and Paulina, we went through all those situations. And we worked it out on our own issues before it came together. Divine was like, okay, you guys ready? I'll get you together. But we have the things to go through. We went through this period. We know how it goes. Okay. So from personal experience in there, always, always, always truth within you, balance, remove these fears, seek the fears. If you have any issues, go with the issues. They tell you the areas of concern to grow and pay attentions, not to your partner, what it does, and what do you think he should have done. Pay attention to your own actions because sometimes, as Paulina said, we can sabotaging ourselves because of our own personal needs, of our dependency. She was very correct. Okay. She was absolutely correct on that. And I will take her advice if I'm you. And Astrologia Sabedorias Sagradas, Vanya Faria. Hi, Vanya. Glad to see you. Thank you both very much for one more subject. You're welcome, Vanya. Hopefully, this is helping you and you. If you any questions, guys, have you can ask now to it. So
Yeah. So maybe to finish off, reminder for everyone. It's like, I don't want to scare people, but just expect those separations to happen. Like, I'm not saying always it's gonna be physical separation. right now we are physically separated, but I wouldn't call it separation in a sense. There's been times that we felt energetically separated. Like we felt that it's gonna go, we have to let it go. And we had to let it go just for this purpose of letting go. Once we healed our attachment, we came back together. So it's really, it's about this multidimensional aspect of these connections, that sometimes people are talking about this 3D separation, that not talking to each other. Sometimes you may be in the connection, try to maintain the connection, but energetic connection is dissolved, and then you begin to panic because it's like, oh my god, where'd the connection go? Did it go its own way? Does it mean that we have to separate? So especially in those moments that our logic cannot comprehend why the energy is suddenly going or dissolving, we talk about this stuff. We give it a time. If we have to go and focus on our own um, mental space, just rethink, maybe there are some triggers, we do that. But you see, we try to communicate. It's like on our both sides. We are not afraid to say if we need some clarification, because that's another thing. Like those connections, as you advance, they will be more complicated. It's right now you're just kind of getting prepared just to work it out, to maintain the proper communication, just to have the means of, okay, how do we speak about those things? Those are some weird dimensions that we are entering. This is your, as I said, this is your school right now, to make sure that you know how to handle those misunderstood situations, that you feel some energetic shifts, you feel like, oh my god, you will have another connection maybe coming your way. How do you deal with that? Like, are you still able to communicate although it's super uncomfortable? So if anything, trust those separations that are happening. First, recognize, is it really a separation, or is it natural process that you're giving each other space? Because people are, I think, overusing this word as well. That this is too dramatic, honestly, sometimes. It's just, no, people are asking you to give them space because they are processing their energies. And it's far from separation. They still want to make it work, but they just need to process that. Sometimes we just need to regroup. So a little bit like taking off the pressure of the understanding of the word itself, I think will be very helpful. And just making sure that you communicate well. If you have some expectations that are not being met, either you can see if they are really proper, if you should have as much expectations, but if you believe that's valid, you have to communicate that, because maybe the person will just understand it, and they will be more clear in when they need a break, when they need to have like three days offline and so on. So it's really, talking is very powerful, simple and powerful.
Exactly. And one of the last thing right there is just uh, once this is happening to you, you're beginning to talk with your partner, you're going to be relearning things that you already knew, but you never have done it right. So you're going to be relearning how to talk. You're going to be learning how to feel. You're going to be relearning how to cooperate. All those, all those basic things of relationships. But now you're going to be operate not from as you stated here at what should I do so I can maintain the balance. You're not operating from the human-based psychology anymore. You're operating from soul understanding. Okay, and here is that connections that you're gonna find out is between psychology, philosophy, and spirituality. They're all three gonna be improving you, and that is gonna be comes in and help you out. So that's all I have, guys. If you got any questions, if you have any topic that you want us with you talk and come out and discuss here with you guys, great. Please write it down below in the comments. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for the sharing, for the likes, for watching, the subscribes. We appreciate you.
Thanks for the good question too. It was good to address it, and
Actually,
good luck in
somebody
communicating.
somebody tagged me on that in there. Somebody was like, I cannot see it right now. I was responding there, but it disappeared. I wish to recognize the person, but I can't. But whoever you are, we'll recognize you because quality questions, because quality answers, and we're building the quality for the community. Thank you guys. Be love, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.